Hey everyone, welcome back to another video in Java programming series in 2025, and in this video we'll be talking about taking inputs from console using Java. So far we have been dealing with values or already defined values, predefined values. Uh, so in this video I would like to show how to make this value dynamically. For example, based on the value that user enters on the console, and then we can get that value and can use in calculation instead of already defining certain value, and then if we want to change we have to go to code and then modify it, which is really not efficient. So I'm going to be creating a new file, compact source file. You can create also class and write a main method, that's fine. And I'm going to be naming it as input program. So here, we'll be writing code related to taking input. So in Java, to take input, we have a class called scanner, and then it provides when we define how do we want to take input, whether from system or file, and then we will have various methods depending on that. And so there are different ways to take input. For example, we can take input for integer value, double value, and then a string, and so on. And I will show you exactly how to create those uh, variables and how to read those values. All right. So first of all, if we want to define a scanner object, we have to create an object of a scanner. So a scanner, you can name it as C, or many people call it SE. So scanner equals new and then scanner. And here, since it expects something, I have to say system.in. That means you are essentially saying you want input from system. That means this console, and you will see this console. You will see this console when we run the program. And so now, since scanner, it has a lot of methods available for us. So if I do scanner dot, you can see all of the available options here, right? So let's say we are interested in taking someone's ID or some integer value. So next int, next, and then int, and this is how you write next int. And look at this pattern. For example, if you do next control space, you have double, and then you have next line and next long, etc. Right? So we are interested in next integer value, and this returns some value that we entered. All right, and this is going to be integer, so integer value, or you can say is. All right, so let me run the program. You will understand how it works. So now you see blank space, but this is essentially accepting some value, integer value. If I do, it doesn't do anything, right? But to make some messages or user friendly instruction, what I can do is I can do as out, or you can do io.println, enter your age. All right, so now, and if I want to print something, you entered, or you can say you are, and then age, and then years old. And if I run it again, it says enter your age. And if I, let's say, enter 22, and then it says you are 22 years old. Now we have not defined something like age equals 33 that we have been doing, right? Now it's dynamic. Every time I run, I can give different values, and then I can use this age, right? So for example, now I can enter 55, and then it says 55 years old, right? Similarly, let's deal with something else. For example, your name. So you can do scanner dot next line. We have next and next line. So the difference between next and next line is next only reads a word. For example, if you enter hello world, it will only read hello and it will skip world. So if you want to read the whole line, for example, hello world, it will, so the next will only read hello and it will skip world. But if you write next line, it will read the whole line, right? Essentially the whole line. And this next line actually returns a string. So a string name and something, right? And similarly, I can say enter your name just to print friendly message and s out, and then you can say hello and plus, that means concatenate and name, right? So let me go and run. So enter your age 22 and 22 years old and your name. Hello. So what is the issue? So now the issue with this one is I wanted to show you this issue. So because as soon as it reads the integer value, it actually, this one is reading the leftover line from this input, right? So essentially what we can do is we can do scanner.nextLine. So it will read the leftover line. And if we did this, now we will be free from this issue. And I can say 22, and now you are 22 years old, and someone's John, and hello John, right? So again, let me run. I wanted to show you something different. So 22, and then for example, John Doe. Now, hello, John Doe. But if you change it to, let's say, only next, and let me run this, and John Doe, and it only said hello, John, even though we entered John Doe. And that's the difference in between next and next line. Now, if I do, for example, enter your address, and then here address, and now address, for example, address, okay, address. All right, so if I do it now, 22, and then you are 22 years old, John Doe, and then hello John Doe. For example, let's say John is from Nigeria and address Nigeria. Now we will not have issue because now this next line reads the whole line, so this will be processed just as expected. So this was like a little bit of tricky part. So you can also do, if you want to avoid, if scanner dot has next line, if you have it, if you have a next line, just clear it, next line. All right, it has the same impact as this one, but this is more clear. So if you do it, everything will be as expected. John Doe, and then let's say Nigeria. Yeah, all right. And this is working perfectly fine. And that was like the pretty important difference in between next line and then how the lines are getting processed and what happens, or when do you get unexpected result if you don't do this scanner dot next line to clear the buffer, right? You can say it's clearing the buffer. And similarly, we are not limited to integer or something. So for example, let's say you are inputting someone's salary. For example, scanner dot next, and then salary is usually going to be in double. All right. And then I'm going to be like, if it is double value, it's a double salary. And you can say, oh, sorry. And you can say enter your salary. And when as soon as he enters salary, so we can say salary, you can print some pretty message and salary, And now let's run the program. And I'm not going to write full name, ABC, DDF, and salary. For example, 223.67. And now the salary is shown or displayed as double value, right? So we can have long, double, and things like that. All right. So if sometimes if you want to process this as integer, if you want to avoid this one, for example, what you can do is now let's say integer integer id, for example. Okay, I'm saying scanner dot next line. I'm saying next line, but here what I'm doing here is since integer and then I want to input id, but this is line that returns string, right? So if you are sure that it is going to be captured as integer, so you can say integer dot parse int, right? And then this one. So integer to parseInt is essentially typecasting, but we will talk about this wrapper class in coming videos. So if you just want to get rid of this one, for example, now if I do enter as out, enter ID, and then if you return ID equals to ID, all right? And then even without this line here, it will work. Let me run it. Oh, enter your age, you were 22, and enter ID. So, sorry, number format exception, 23. So enter ID. Now I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, and look at this. ID is 1, 2, 3, 4. And also we have been prompted as enter your name and address, and everything works just fine, right? So this is how you can avoid, for example, if you want to parse it to integer, so that's going to be stored at integer, right? This is basically saying, well, even treat input as a string, but cast, you can say convert it to the integer value, right? So but if you enter, be aware, right? So if you enter, for example, in id, if you enter like 1 2 w or any character other than integer, it's not going to work, right? Because now you cannot convert this 12. So basically you can convert this 12 to 12, but you cannot convert so 2l as, for example, to 2l right now, because you have to deal with other complexities. So you can definitely convert, but this is not going to be easy, right? So we make sure that you are always inputting the integer value if you want to do something like this. All right, so and you can also practice on year one using this code as a reference code, and then hopefully you will understand a lot of things out of this code. And that was pretty much it for this video. I hope you liked it. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.